I know a lot of people will put a lot on Drake May, and justifiably, he's the quarterback, and he had a really good year. I feel like the MVP of the Patriots offensively over the last 6 to 7 weeks of the season, including the playoffs, has been Stevenson, the running back.
Ramondre Stevenson.
I mean, Stevenson has played really well. He's run hard. He's caught the ball. He's done some good things for them. He's made big runs when they've needed him to make big runs. And big runs, I don't mean just touchdowns, but first down plays. In a lot of ways, if you talk to the Patriots people, Bob Sochi being one of them, who's their play-by-play guy, they feel like they'll down the stretch of the season, Stevenson actually has been the offensive MVP. Diggs has been essentially shut down in the playoffs. They've hit him a few passes here and there, but part of that's Drake May. Drake May has not had a great throwing postseason. He's run the ball well, but he hasn't had a great throwing postseason. The Patriots' defense has been swarming. The Patriots' defense has imposed its will against both Houston and against Denver.
And the Chargers.
And the Chargers as well. They've shut down everybody. And I think for them to win the game, they've got to keep the game. I think they've got to keep the game below 24. They've got to keep the game below 24. In fact, I think they probably have to keep the game under 20 to win the game.
They, so far this postseason, have given up a total of 26 points amongst the three games. They're averaging about 9 points given up a game.
I think they have to keep the game below 20 to win.
And they're taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Coming into this game, of course, the big notes. Sam Darnold, we've talked about him quite a bit. You have the, second-year head coach now in Mike McDonald.
Good coach.
You've got
good defensive mind. He's been in Beaver Stadium. He was with Michigan.
Yeah, and you've got the receiving core with Cooper Kupp and Jackson Smith and Jigba, who has just been electric this season to watch. And the defense you mentioned, they've been, stout is putting it mildly.
Yeah.
They beat down the Niners. Of course, Rashid Shaheed kicked that game off with a kickoff return touchdown. And then they beat the Rams in a close one. They always play them close. And they rock up against the Patriots here. Out west in the West Coast, they may have a crowd advantage, but I wouldn't say it's that big because the Super Bowl is always the weird one where you've got each set of fans gets a certain number of tickets. But there's a lot of corporate tickets in there where it's a lot of neutral fans.
Every team gets tickets.
Exactly.
All 32.
Yeah. So it is kind of a mixed bag of who attends. So the Seahawks in this one, what can you tell me?
Well, the Darnold thing is the key because he has been the best quarterback in the postseason. All right. Even better than Matthew Stafford. He's, and the key for Darnold is he has stayed away from the big mistake. Now, is this the time against that really, really good Patriots defense that he makes a big mistake? Because he has had a tendency. Remember, why isn't he a Minnesota Viking right now? Because they drafted J.J. McCarthy in the first round. He was supposed to be a bridge guy to get to McCarthy. You think about the last 2 games he played for Minnesota last year. We could talk about, hey, they won 14 games. They won 14 games Minnesota, so that's great until you get to the last 2 games. The game against Detroit with a chance to win the division, he had a bad night. And they then fell to being a 5 seed instead of getting a first-round bye, which meant they then had to play the Rams, and that was the game in Glendale because of the fires in Los Angeles. So they played in Glendale, and he had another bad game. And he had developed a reputation until he got to, I think it was the last regular season game.
I believe so.
Where they won it, which allowed them to win the division and be the number 1 seed. And he played well in that game. Like, hey, Sam Darnold finally got it off. And there was a game, was it the Thursday night game with the Rams, where he drove them downfield and they were able to, he threw a touchdown pass to like the third tight end to win the game. And like 38-37. So he's played really well this season. And so the griping in Minnesota is we should have kept him. But you think back on the last 2 games of last season, the fan base was ready to move on from him because despite winning 14 games, the 2 biggest games of the year were Detroit to win the division, and he didn't play well at all, and the Rams in the playoff game where I think he turned it over 5 times. So now he goes with a fresh start with Seattle because Minnesota did make an offer to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't that Minnesota just cut bait and just moved on to McCarthy. They made an offer to keep him. And he's been the best quarterback in this particular postseason to this point. But it still has to be in the back of everybody's mind that he gets into a game like this. Will he perform well in a game like this? So far in the playoffs, he has performed really well. He's fought off an injury, and he's performed extremely well for them. Walker's a big key for him at running back. You need your running game in a game like this. Jackson Smith and Jigba is exactly what I thought he'd be in the league. Because, look, I saw him at Ohio State. I'm like, this guy can play. And Cooper Kupp is a pro's pro. And same story with Seattle. Can the Seattle defense keep the Patriots under 20? They keep the Patriots under 20. They've got a great shot of winning this because Seattle has enough offense to overcome that. The question is, do the Patriots have enough offense? And that's why the Patriots need to keep the score down in the game.
And where I am intrigued most here is, and I mentioned it this past week or past 2 weeks ago with the championship games, is if I am looking at one piece of the field that you kind of can't predict, it is special teams. Special teams matter more than people truly realize they do because, of course, it means kicking field goals.
Well, Seattle won a game this year with 6 field goals.
They did. They won the game with field goals. Their kickers are about the same in terms of numbers. Borregales is sitting on about 85% for the season, and I believe so far for the season, if I can pull it on up, kicking for Seattle is Myers. He's about 85%.
But there's another element here. Okay, both of them spend almost the vast majority of their time kicking on artificial surfaces. This will be a grass surface, and not only is it a grass surface, it is not the field that the 49ers play on. They have grown this field specifically. They have put it in specifically for this game, and it's going to be interesting to see. Sometimes they throw it in there, and it's slick. Right? So they're going to be kicking on grass, which is what they normally do not do, and it's a brand new field that it's going to take a little bit for them. Warm-up is going to be critical for each guy. Return-wise, both teams have guys that can return it.
Antonio Gibson for the Pats, Rashid Shaheed
Gibson's
for the
a fabulous return guy. Sheed is just outstanding. Of course, the 49ers saw that firsthand, and you know with the Saints how he was like. And I think that's going to be important. The two punters,
Dixon for Seattle.
He's
is one
the pro.
Best.
He's an all pro.
Yeah.
Dixon's really good.
Behringer for the Patriots is also really good.
Well, was at Michigan State in the weather at Denver, which they will not encounter this time. He was up and down.
Yeah.
But the weather was awful. They're not going to encounter that on Sunday. I have no idea if it's going to rain on Sunday, but it's not going to be cold.
It's not going to be snowing sideways. Right. So Steve Jones, the Seahawks, Patriots, Sunday night, Super Bowl. Who do you have winning the game?
Seattle.
Give me a sense of the score. What do you think it's going to be?
24-16, something like that.
24-16.
Right around that area. The game, it'll be a game in the fourth quarter. I think it's going to be a really close game in the fourth quarter. You're going to need to, I just think that playing with the lead in this game is going to be extremely important because of the defenses. If you can play with the lead, because each team has a defense they can lean on. Get to the lead and lean on your defense. And I think just Seattle has just a few more pieces to the puzzle. And because they have a couple of more, not a lot more, but a couple of more pieces to the puzzle, that's why I think at this stage they're the better team.
Give me the Seahawks similarly, 27, I think, to 19 is where I'm going with it. I think they do win by a score, plus an extra point at the end. I think my player to watch here, I know I mentioned special teams, but Nicky Manwari for the Seahawks on defense. He's been all over the place. You can kind of put him everywhere, the rookie. And I'm really excited to watch this game. I think it's a really interesting chess match.
To me, Weatherspoon's a corner.
Devon Weatherspoon.
I think he's a fabulous player for Seattle. I think he's terrific. And I think Jackson Smith and Jigma, to me, could be the guy that ends up being the MVP of the game. Thanks for listening to Sports Talk with Steve Jones. Catch the latest from me on the 7 Mountain Sports YouTube page. Find clips of the show on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook by searching up 7 Mountain Sports.